is ready to go. On the Fan, New York Sports Radio. Mike's on, Mike's on. He'll get you the sports any way that he can. It's Mike Francesa on the Fan. Sports Radio 66 and 101.9 FM, WFAN.
From the studios of WFAN, this is Mike's on, Francesa on the Fan, and what will be a very busy Wednesday, the 6th day of December. 8 shows left, so they are coming fast and furious. We have a very busy show, as we said, a wonderful show today. You'll hear from the Yankee manager, the new Yankee manager, and according to the Yankees, the 33rd. Chris says there's a couple of sites that said 35, so I don't know where the dispute is, but... So the Yankees say 33, we'll say 33 managers. That's what they say. So he said there's a couple that say different, but who knows what they're doing, counting somebody twice or using somebody they don't recognize. Whatever it is, we're going with the Yankee number, which is 33 managers. That's Aaron Boone today. Also Cashman on why he made the decision and what's up for the Yankees going forward. Plus, A-Rod will join us in the 4 o'clock hour, and we will hear from the legendary Coach K, Mike Krzyzewski, early in the program, just minutes from now, as a matter of fact. Then we should have Aaron Boone and Cash probably around 2 o'clock because they're doing these one-on-ones now, the Yankees, and the press conference is over. They've stopped taking questions from websites across America, and they are now doing their stand-ups, and then we will be joined by Aaron Boone and by the general manager, Mr. Cashman, will join us. And as I said, A-Rod later on, Coach K in just a couple of minutes. So that's where we are as we begin. So for the Yankees, anew. Also, Spags is going to meet the media at 2 o'clock. So we'll run that back for you as soon as we tape it. We'll run that back for you later on. So you'll hear Spags, too, in his first official, time as the head coach, the interim head coach of the football Giants, as they get ready to finish up the last 4 games, and they've said winning is the priority, and I'm sure Spags will make it official, what we all expect, and we all would be shocked if it wasn't the case, and that is that that Eli will be the quarterback, and we go forward from there. The Giants have a lot of things to do, a lot of work to do, and it really begins this week as they start to move forward past McAdoo and Reese, who are gone. They're already beginning their investigations into finding a general manager. Then they will begin their work and their search for a new coach very quickly for them, obviously, after the last time. And then we move on from there. They have to make a decision about where they're going to draft, depending on how many games they win. Can the bottom teams win a couple of games, move the Giants up the ladder? Well, they could very well finish second. The one thing now is the Niners are playing a quarterback who gives them a little better chance to win. He's already 1-0 in his career. He's 3-0. So he thinks a little bit more about winning than past ones. So don't be surprised if he wins another a couple of games for the Niners, who had won one game that was only against the Giants this year. There's also talk of Aaron Rodgers being ready to come back next week. But you know what? They beat the Cavaliers this week and go 7-6. Cavaliers. They beat the Browns this week and go 7-6. It's still not going to be enough in the NFC. Even if he ran the table 10-6, it's not even automatic. And when you look at it right now, you got 2 teams with 8. And another team with 7, they're all ahead of them, So from that standpoint, Atlanta's a 7 and they're 6, and Atlanta has a tiebreaker against them because they beat them head to head. So it's going to be difficult. I think almost impossible for them to make the playoffs anyway. So even if they do win this week, as we would expect the Packers to do in Cleveland, although I shouldn't say it's automatic, it's not because Rodgers isn't back yet. But I gather he looks great in practice and he's raring to go. So hey, I would expect him to come back and be as good as he usually is, that's for sure. So that wouldn't be any surprise there from that standpoint. So we got a very busy show, as we said, a lot to get to, and what you call a very big day around anytime the Yankees name a new manager, and they haven't done that very often recently. It used to be something that went on almost daily. Now it has become a very unusual happenstance, having watched Torre be the Yankee manager for as long as he was, and then Girardi backing that up. I was surprised that whatever I saw, and I can't say that I saw all the opinions about Boone, but whatever ones I did come across, and Julio was telling me in the car the same thing, whatever he came across, everything is very positive. There's not one person that even has raised an objection that he might be a reach. That everything, he's absolutely the right guy for the job. He's got the right this, right. You know, he's a little bit of a reach. I mean, let's be honest. He is. He's coming from the broadcast booth. He doesn't have any managerial experience. He hasn't been, a third base coach. He hasn't been a bench coach. He hasn't been a manager in the minors. He hasn't been a manager in the majors. To come take over the Yankees, having been a broadcaster after being a player, having a Yankee moment, which he clearly did. We understand that. He had a wonderful Yankee moment. That was a great game. That was one of the great games. But to me, it's funny, I've referred to that game a million times. The memorable part of that game is not Boone to me. The memorable part of that game is the comeback in the eighth inning. That to me is the memorable part of that game. Not that Boone didn't hit a home run. He did. He hit a big one. But to me, that game, the memorable part is what they did in the eighth inning, which was unbelievable. And that had wild reverberations, what they did in the eighth inning of that game. And Mariano was brilliant in that game, utterly brilliant. He was as good in that game as he ever was anywhere, anytime. Pitched 3 innings in that game. So, I mean, a remarkable performance from that standpoint. But now Aaron Boone is your manager. A new era of Yankee baseball begins. Obviously, a lot of expectations this year all the way around, but we will discuss that with him and with the general manager, Brian Cashman, will join us. And then, of course, A-Rod will get his thoughts on that and other things. And we will start it off with Coach K, one of the legendary figures in American sport over the last 35 years and one of the great coaches in any sport of all time. When they draw up the pantheon of great coaches in America, Coach K will be on the first page no matter what the sport is. That's how good he is. He has left that kind of mark. He has been that kind of a brilliant coach, and he will join us in just a couple of minutes. So we've got a lot to do. We'll get it all rolling for this Wednesday right after this.